Hey everyone, it's Deidre here. Let's be honest, podcasts are the thing right now, but I truly believe they genuinely work in sharing stories. I have the gift of gab, and that's no joke. This podcast allows me a platform to invite the people that I want to talk with and share our stories. I hope as a listener you gained something new or just a little bit of joy. So sit back, relax, and let's get to chatting. Hello everybody. I'm back. I'm so sorry. It has been a hot minute since I've done a podcast. I really do apologize. My life has been so wild the last couple of months, and I'll be the first to admit I'm the worst with excuses, which I think in life we're really, that's why they're called excuses, because they're so easy to do. And I started a new job, went through some life changes, which I'll get into in a minute. And so putting this off was the easy thing to do. And finally, I just had to look in the mirror and say, Deidre Marie, you started this podcast for a reason. Just try to put it out. I preach consistency in my job every single day, but I think as any good person can understand, especially if you are in the marketing industry or have been in the industry at all, or any job really, it's really hard to dive deep into a project that you do for yourself. And I have put this side hustle off for quite some time, and I need to get back into it, and that is what I'm doing today. So this episode, I'm going to be kind of recapping the last couple of months in some aspects or another, and catching you up to speed, and then hopefully getting some more guests back on, and we'll just keep going at this. But, I've learned that I have to give myself a little grace, and I think that's what one of the biggest New Year's resolutions this year that I have stuck to is giving myself grace. And what I mean by that is understanding that I am not perfect. I am a perfectionist to a default. And I think that in this fast-paced society that we're in, it's very easy to compare. It's very easy to have excuses. It's very easy to do these things that you just doubt and question yourself. I do it every day, sometimes on my way to work. But, I've also learned that it's okay. It's okay that I slip up once in a while. It's okay that I took some time to focus on myself. It's going to be okay. So giving myself that little bit of grace. And I think the break from the podcast too was nice. In some ways, I think that it was good for me to really refocus both personally and professionally. Like I mentioned, I started a new job, and it's been different. I think being a recent college graduate, and I was in such a great environment. I love Wesleyan. I was in such a fostering environment. And when you're out on your own, and anyone who's graduated college and has had a long-term career is going to laugh when I say this, but it's different. The real world is different. Go figure. And trying to adjust to that work-life balance and the adult life has been eye-opening to me. I used to think that I had it all and I knew it all, and I don't. Imagine that. But it's been wild. It really has been such an interesting time. And I look back to a year ago where I was. It's so different. But I am so thankful that I have such a supportive team around me that understands that I'm going to get through this one way or another. I really have learned also this year to put people in my corner that will support me no matter what. So shout out to those people who are in my corner. I know who you are, and I know you know who who you are as well. So the new job has been fun and exciting, and I'm still trying to navigate a lot of different things. But professionally, I'm going down an avenue that I think will benefit me in the long run. At least I hope so. Yeah, it's been a wild ride, but I'm excited to see where it takes me and make those connections any way I can and chat as I do. Personally, wow, the last 2.5 months have been, since I last have done a podcast, have really been, like I said, it's been a struggle a little. I mean, I'll be the first to admit to mental health. Like, it's been hard to navigate, but also relaxing in some way to, I think, especially for me, and if anyone else is like this, reach out to me. For so long, you wish to be in this moment in your life, whether that was, oh, I can't wait to be 16 and drive. Oh, I can't wait to be 21 to drink. We all wish for this moment in our life. And for me, for so long was, I can't wait till I'm done with school, till I graduate college, get the job. And here I am, and once it hit me that I was no longer in school, it was a struggle. It was like, oh, I'm not going to have homework, which is great. But being in school, you kind of have a timeline to look forward to in some way, like, oh, fall break. And then it's midterms and all this stuff that has been an intricate part of my life for the last 4.5, 5 years. So I have all this free time, quote unquote, has been an adjustment, especially being in a long-term relationship, adjusting to his schedule, my schedule, all the things. It really has been interesting I finally now get it. I mean, I've always been busy. My whole life I've been busy, but now really life has hit me in the face, and it's just... One, I'm trying to take each day at a time, which is hard for me because I am such a planner and a perfectionist, but it still is fun. Life is fun and exciting. And with that, so the last time I had a podcast, I was getting ready to go on a big trip, and I did. I went to New York City with Kevin, and it was so much fun. I'll break down that trip a little bit more in another episode because the highlight of the trip, Kevin asked me to marry him, and I said yes. So personally, I've been planning a wedding. No, as a couple, we've been planning a wedding and getting our families involved, which has also been, again, I am totally, and anyone in my family is going to listen to this podcast and chuckle because I am that girl who has watched Say Yes to the Dress since I can remember, and I have been the girl on Pinterest who's had a wedding board saved for years on end. And now it's time to plan a wedding, and I also was in the industry. I worked as a bridal consultant at Bed Bath & Beyond. I loved that. That was such a fun thing to do. But now that it's my turn, this is also an interesting anecdote. I am the youngest on both my sides. All three of my sides of my family, I'm the youngest, and getting married. So I've been in a lot of my other relatives' weddings, and then Kevin is the first really in his immediate family, and then the youngest in a long string of cousins that's now getting married. So this is really going to be a party. It's going to be a really good time. I'm excited for our families to come together. But as I'm finding out in this wedding planning process, it's true. The wedding is a day, and it's a wonderful day. But it's about the marriage. And I think that, it's been fun and exciting to be on Pinterest and to finally start picking out colors and flowers and the dress and all that. But really marrying the man that I love is the icing. It's really what it's all about. And so, Kevin has made a really nice rule that we're really only allowed to talk about wedding planning on Sundays. Now, I have broken this rule multiple times already, but at the same time, it's allowed us to really refocus our relationship too, have really good discussions that I think that everyone should have, but I feel like they don't come up until you're planning a wedding, and I'm so thankful to have the most amazing parents and Kevin's parents that have been so supportive, as well as so understanding, as well as excited to plan this with me. So we're getting the ball started. We're working on a date. We're working on everything right now. We're at that phase of planning where we have ideas of a lot of things. We've researched, we've toured, and now it's just time to kind of finalize it. But we're getting there, I promise. So stay tuned for another episode. I'm going to have Kevin join me, and we're going to talk about our engagement story, because I tell you what, it couldn't be more perfect, and it was so amazing. So we'll break that down, as well as our New York City trip. New York City was so much fun. It's super funny. When I was 17, I thought I wanted to live there. Now I couldn't imagine living there, but it was definitely a fun place to travel to. So I'm excited to break that down for you guys and have Kevin on the podcast and have him give his perspective, because I have some questions to ask him about the engagement. Of course, I'm nosy, so I want to know kind of everything from that. So that's kind of personally where I'm at and professionally where I'm at. So I'm a hot mess express, but if you guys are willing to stick with me, I've had a lot of people ask me about the podcast. Here it is. I'm so sorry, but I think taking the break is what I needed to regroup. But of course, it wouldn't be Gift of Gab with Deidre if I didn't talk about pop culture, TV, all that jazz. So since my last podcast, you guys all know I'm a huge Bachelorette fan. They announced the new Bachelor, Peter. I'm for that. I encourage you, if you guys are Bachelorette fans and like listening to other podcasts, do listen to Bachelor Happy Hour. Rachel Lindsay, the former Bachelorette, and she just got married. She has her own podcast and, of course, has Bachelor Nation celebrities, on the podcast. And it's good. I think what makes it better than some of the other Bachelor podcasts, quote unquote, is it is produced by ABC. So they get exclusive content right away. Like, for example, after Hannah's season finale, they got Jed on that podcast. I listened to it. I don't know why they gave Jed the time of day, but it was still interesting to hear his side of the story, because unfortunately in those type of situations, they don't really give the one who loses the time of day. So it was awesome to hear his podcast. So it's produced by ABC, which I think that's awesome if you want to get some more behind the scenes scoop that way. And ABC's putting their name on it, it's got to be legit. So anything they really say on there, I'm gonna go with it. So that was awesome. Since you last heard me, big exciting thing happened. I met Blake Horstmann from Becca's season of The Bachelor. Yeah, that's right. He was at the Ohio State Husker game. It's Husker season, folks. So exciting time here. And he actually, fun fact, went to Hastings College. He's from Denver, went to Hastings College. He was a communication studies major. And he was in the rail yard. And I will say I had some liquid courage. And I saw him in the rail yard. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious. And I kind of looked at Kevin like, I got to go down there. I got to get a picture. I got to meet him. So I did. It was awesome. I had a little moment. I'm the best fangirl. I am totally that girl that like, oh my goodness gracious, it's so exciting. So yes, I met him. It was awesome. I got a picture with him. It was great. So I really, really enjoyed that. It's a memory that I'll never forget. But moving on to more TV that I've been watching, that is Dancing with the Stars. I'm a huge Dancing with the Stars fan. And does that really surprise you? And this season has been probably one of the best, because they finally, I think after Bobby Bones winning last season out of nowhere, they finally have been going back to the basics. So the judges have been really harsh this season. Like, they finally just gave their first 9 of the season, which is very uncommon. I mean, normally they're kind of giving out scores willy-nilly, but I think they've been really getting back to the basics of the ballroom. And it's not so much a production as it has been in seasons past, which has been so good. So this season, I think there's about 4 or 5 of them that right now are kind of competitively at that top level. Of course, Bachelorette Hannah Brown's on there, and she's doing really well. I hope this kind of works out for her in her favor. James Vanderbeek is so good. It's between them two, but also then there's a girl from Fifth Harmony that I didn't realize, but she has kind of came up out of nowhere. And then Kel from Kenan and Kel, he is pretty good too. So those are the 4 that I'm watching right now. But I think it also comes down to a pro. If you have a really good pro, that's who choreographs and teaches them. Oh, and how could I forget, because I'm such an Office fan, Kate Flanderly. She has been, she's the whole reason that they created the show. It's someone like her that has never had real dance experience. Here she is, and she's getting better every single week and kicking butt. I absolutely love her. She's hilarious. She's been a joy to watch. And so last night was Disney night, and I was getting so sentimental. It's like, oh, I love Disney, and they've been really doing a good job. But I have to say, Dancing with the Stars, you need to revamp your content. I have been an avid fan for many, many seasons, and it seems like with Disney night, they seem to repeat the same dances, aka James Van Der Beek and Emma did a Paso Doble to the Pirates of the Caribbean theme song. I'm sorry, Riker Lynch and Allison Holker did that exact same dance literally less than 3 years ago. And I found it on YouTube. Theirs was a lot better. Sorry, James and Emma, but theirs was a lot better. So, and then, yeah, they've even done A Whole New World, and Hannah did that. Like, come on, Disney. I know you have a lot more content than that to spread the love. And so, yeah, I was a little disappointed in that. Like, it was an afterthought, but I was like, I feel like I've seen this dance before. Oh, yeah, because I have 3 years ago. So I'll be excited to watch this season because they've been a little bit more critical with the judging. I feel like this season, whoever wins, it truly is a great winner because they've worked so hard. And so I'll be excited to see. There was no elimination this week, but that means probably in the next 2 weeks there's going to be a double elimination, which is always tough because... with that too, this season they implemented this new judges rule that they get to save them, which I think is long overdue. Because you get these two, couples that'd be in the bottom two, and one of them you're like, how are they in the bottom two? They just scored like a 30, So that is what I have to say about that. So I've been watching Dancing with the Stars. Kevin and I are still watching Grey's Anatomy. We're moving pretty far into that. And that's pretty much it. Nothing else super, super crazy. I haven't had a ton of time to really watch a ton of TV either. I did watch the latest season, 13 Reasons Why. Won't really get into that. But yeah, it's been a crazy couple of months. And like I said, I apologize for taking a little bit of a break from the podcast. But at the same time, I'm really thankful that I've had some time to really think about what I want next. How do I see this moving forward? What guests do I really want on the podcast? And, where do I see my brand and myself going forward? So this is still going to be a little side hustle, a side hobby. I can't promise I'm going to have content every week. I'm going to try really hard. But, I also think that's what makes these things so authentic is the fact that, it's not perfect. So Lily is giving me this look of she needs all the attention in the world. So I'm going to hop off. But thank you again so much for listening to this podcast and giving me a little bit of a break. Until next time, thanks. This podcast was produced and created by Deidre M. Stevens. Follow Deidre on social media. Check out the exclusive Gift of Gab with Deidre Facebook page. And see her day-to-day life on Instagram at Miss Deidre S.